guess I need to go install Twitch again.
All right. Hello and welcome to Fragments of Remains, session 18. Moving along quite nicely. I'd like to check in with each of our players, see how everyone's week was. Let's go ahead and start with Modar, since last time we ended on such a high note with this story.
It's been all right. I've up north right now, visiting the family, doing that stuff. But I get a little bit of time tonight to do all this. So yeah, it's been an interesting week, having some fun.
Nice. Well, thank you for taking some time away from the family and joining us. I do appreciate it. Togo, how was your week?
Pretty good. I had a COVID exposure, so I'm out of work till at least Thursday, depending on when I get my test results back. But been pretty chill, doing a bunch of stuff around the house, so not bad.
Well, as long as it's a scare, I guess it's not too bad. Hopefully you don't get sick or anything.
No, I mean like my friend is actually has it, but he's all right, so doing well, and went and delivered a bunch of groceries to him, so he doesn't have to go out for, today. So
Well, that was nice of you. Zanashi, how was your week?
Other than having to reinstall Windows, it was not bad.
Oh, that's good. Did you win any more free money at work?
Nope. I need to go take my lottery tickets and see if I won anything on those dang things. I ain't even looked at them.
Fingers crossed.
I didn't win the big thing because those weren't even in my state.
Oh, well, sometimes you can get, most of the numbers and a pretty decent payout.
Yeah, I think somebody further north up here on the Gulf Coast won $2 million off the Powerball. I read on it today.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah, that's what I say. I want to win that $1,000 a day for life, though.
Same. Valencia, how was your week? Wow, you're really quiet. What happened?
Oh,
Super, super quiet. Try that one more time.
Yes, I've got him up on like 149%, and I can't hear him.
I got
way
it
up.
200%.
Are you still? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay,
yep,
I
I
was
can
just
hear you
making-
there.
All right, so what'd you say? How was your week?
just normal.
Just normal. Well, I was saving you for. I thought were gonna be able to share the best story. with
Never
us.
save me for last ever.
Noted. Well, as always, I'll go ahead and open it up to the floor for each of you for the recap, and then we'll get into tonight's session. So who's gonna start to take the lead this week?
All right,
Well-
go ahead, Clue.
I was just going to say that Valencia is convinced that I murdered a innocent civilian.
With no proof whatsoever.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
And then we got to this little town here, Meadow, and our magic users got to wear this pin or something on their damn clothes to track them and repress their magical arcane abilities.
I don't think it
Yeah.
repressed it.
Yeah,
I think it just
all-
tracked what we did and tracked where we went, and
we can't use magic inside this in this city, so they have pinned us, so we can't use that. We managed to go from the cave to here, got in line, took a elevator lift up with our mounts.
We took a bunch of sketches of the ship as well.
Going to see the leader of the local guild, and we found out that there's a war right now going on in
Lails.
what was the name of the town? Lails.
Lails, yeah.
Is pulling guild members from here to there to fight in a war that they've got going on.
And the guild's called the Wheat Civet. Was that the name of the local guild?
Yeah, the local one, yes.
Togo met a couple of old friends here as well that were playing at the local guild hall.
And then what else happened? I guess where we ended was we were talking to the leader of the Wheat Civet, and they talked about how there's some coin in it if anyone can go out and maybe have the local tribes come help with the war. Also, apparently there's a drow near, or there was some drow who are commonplace, not or known in the city, not random ones that have been appearing like was happening in Moga.
And apparently someone looks like Alencia, or a similar feeling to Alencia, encased in shadows and stuff like that.
Zanashi, you don't have anything else that you wanted to add?
She was looking to disfigure another statue, if I remember correctly, at some point.
I mean, that should just, go without saying.
That's the day-to-day.
I mean, I don't want to remind my fellow comrades of what Zanashi is thinking about, because I don't want them to start thinking of ways to stop me.
Oh, that you're trying to steal my pendant to see what happens? I haven't forgotten that. I haven't forgotten that in the least bit.
I mean, it could be Modar's.
That's fine. We can steal Modar's. I'm fine with that.
Deal. So, two things that were that happened last session that I thought when I re-listened to it was hysterical, because I kind of I feel like I maybe just pushed it out of my mind right when it happened, but when re-listening to it, Zanashi did get Alencia to give you a back massage while you two had a nice romantic talk along the shoreline for the beach.
What's the big deal? Friends give massages to each other all the time.
Are you turning red over there, Alicia?
Sounded like you were blushing.
That sounded just like he was blushing.
Oh, I'm not blushing. What are you talking about?
No, it's just Zanashi that is the untrustworthy one when it comes to stuff like that. She's never just a friend. She's always got ulterior motives.
Never trust someone you give massages to.
And the second thing, which is probably a bit more important than that other detail, when you all went back in to explore the mine on the next day after getting your short rest, you sent your familiar in, and as it investigated the whole of the ship inside and out, you did find what you saw as letters that were sketched and engraved into the ship's hull.
Yes, I do have that written down. So I have
yes.
on a different setup. I don't have my OneNote up, but yeah, I know those. I did take notes on that.
I do have that down. Oh, also that there was another party that was clearing out a cave of kobolds to the east of Mido, while we were clearing out a cave of undead to the west.
Most of that's true. It was gnolls and insects.
No.
But yes.
Okay.
Other than
Well,
that,
there were living things inside the other cave.
yes, facts. Other than that, when we had last left off, you had just gotten your introduction to Samira, the head of the Wheat Civet Guild, and as just like a slight reminder, a very attractive woman dressed in mainly dark clothing with a dark hood and dark black, jet black hair. As each of you enter, you can see the sunlight beginning to just fade away from the guild hall's windows, and she stands up from her desk, and a little bit of light kind of just brushes over her face, and you can just see how beautiful she actually is. And she gives each of you a little bit of a smile, looking over the four of you. Welcome. Please shut the door.
I immediately look towards Zanashi after seeing how genuinely attractive she is to see if Zanashi has some sort of glint in her eye or something. To see if she's able to resist herself while we talk with this important guild leader.
You know, you don't really see a glint in my eye, but my nipples get hard.
She nods and then looks back towards the guild leader.
I'll come in and kind of give a slight nod of my head and a small flourish of my cloak and try and fold it over the pin for the magic users so it's not clearly visible, but I'm not trying to like draw attention to it. And say, thank you for seeing us today.
Well, the pleasure is mine. I am quite happy in order to be able to serve on the guild's behalf instead of doing, well, all this paperwork.
I see it's quite a commotion around here.
Yes, are each of you here to sign up for the war efforts as well?
No, actually, we ran into some trouble while northeast of town, and we investigated it and went through and cleared out a lot of it, but thought that it may warrant a more experienced hand than ours to truly deal with what's in there. And we wanted to report that to local authorities to make sure that people knew that there was something else inside that cave.
To the northeast, you say? Are you sure?
Northwest.
Yes, west. Sorry, west. Right along the coast on a cave on the beach, there was a series of undead creatures inside the cave. Some, apparently, they told us miners said, hey, can you come and help us clear this out so we can go back and mine and we'll pay you back what we can. And we went through and it was not what they described.
Yes, that mine is strictly prohibited. No one is supposed to be going there. Let me guess. You spoke with one with the name such as something as Hiza along the crossroads?
Yes. Jaradel Hiza. There was a group of 6 of them?
Group of travelers, yeah, 6. That it was like 4 to 6 or so, if I remember correctly. Yes.
They were headed up to Achenbaum.
Yes. Well, it does seem that she's still going about attempting to get assistance for this mine, even after all these years. Even today, as she grabs this piece of parchment and from her desk and like holds it up, and like a small, what looks to be like a small scroll is clutched in between her fingers.
Yes. Well, so we did clear the mine and kill everything that we could find, but we're not 100% sure we truly did vanquish whatever was in there.
I'm actually quite certain it wasn't. In the back of the cave, there is a fountain that has a statuette that, when the fountain was touched, something came out of it, and we fought it and defeated it. But we went back in the next day to see if anything else was there, and the statuette was back. We figured it wasn't worth throwing ourselves at it again and again, and that maybe there was a more knowledgeable arcane user who might be able to look into it. But we thought we would report what we had done to the nearest city that it might affect and see what all you thought of it, and if you were aware.
Yes, quite aware. I'm very happy to hear that each of you had been there and escaped with your lives. Not very many people are able to do such feats. I would assume that you were able to find some treasures, mainly gems and of the other sorts, rubies, topaz.
We did manage to find gems and things of there. We definitely did not walk out empty-handed. The one thing I did want to ask: what do you know of the ship that is stuck in the middle of the water in that cave?
When you mention the word ship, you'll see like her head kind of like tilt to the side, and then a slightly confused look comes across her face. Ship? What ship?
There is a old ancient boat in the middle of the cave. There's a small, it looks like it was a cave-in of sorts, different from the mine. There's a small pool, almost like a miniature lake, inside that. There's a ship that is buried up. Most of the deck, part of the mast is sticking out, but it's buried in the ground.
It was freshwater, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, it wasn't. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, let me take a look at my note.
Well, that is quite interesting. Fresh water, you say? Well, that is very, very interesting. The last reports that I had coming in to the guild from that mine was, well, that it had a east path that ended near a red fountain and a west path that ended in dead ends.
When was this? Because just past the red fountain it seemed like the wall had caved in there. Whether that be by mining or erosion due to the water running inside, I'm not sure, but
Well,
there's definitely a change.
unless the information I have is, well, quite old, then the last adventure that I had that worked with the guild that went into those mines, it was just over a month ago. It does seem that it, well, has the capability of repopulating in just a few days' time.
Okay. Well, it definitely has changed since then. There's been some kind of movement there, whether it be someone else is going in there or whether it's just slowly falling in on itself due to the water. I don't know, but we wanted to report this and see what all there was in terms of information about the ship. We were curious about it ourselves.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with anything of that sort. My suggestion would be, if it's not too far out of your path, perhaps going to Vala, giving a look to you, Modar, as she says. As you're well aware, that academy there is quite large, vast amount of books.
Yes, indeed. That's where we're actually traveling from.
And how is my dear friend Ward?
Doing very well.
Still as
Very.
crazy as ever.
Oh, as the day is long.
And what is it that the snow hare is up to these days? Still remaining up in those mountains, secluded up in the cold.
Most are, yes. I myself have decided to venture out and see what I can find out in the world around us.
We're spreading Modar's wings a little bit. He's flying out of the nest. Kind of tap him on the shoulder a little bit. We're traveling south to run some errands for some people and stretch our legs a little bit.
Well, perhaps I could speak with Rord. Well, in a few days, perhaps, and see how he feels about this war and if he would like to give any assistance.
I mean, you're
Are you sure none of you are willing to sign up? If I have to ask again after you explaining that you were able to make it in and out of those mines alive.
well, we do have our own our own curiosities that we're looking to quench at the moment. Headed south.
Unfortunately, I'm already bought and paid for. But once that contract expires, maybe. But who knows how long this will last? So
What is it you're looking for, if I may ask?
As you stand there, like, doing slight flexing.
I stop.
Okay. Well, valiant warriors and that are able to hold their own in the battle. Let's see. Lales has had an issue arise with the Auntie from the Empty Tides.
What does the winner get?
Honor, I would assume, for one, if you're able to prove yourself on the battlefields. And, well, with honor follows almost whatever you wish. People will follow and flock to you. To just be guided by a war hero.
Does these people include you?
If you mean as a follower, no. I've got my own name established. As you can see, as like she kind of just gestures around toward all the trophies that hang along the walls of the giant bones, dragon scales, and what appeared to be a fishtail underneath saying a marrow tail.
Not interested then.
Well, then, what is it that each of you are setting out to do? I find it hard to believe that you would come looking to speak directly to me about these mines.
I'm just here to make sure that Modar, Togo, and Alencia don't die.
we're
find-
traveling around actually looking for information on some specific ships for a patron of ours who is trying to find information on apparent lost ships that they know of, with the thought of maybe lost treasure. We'd heard that he had heard of something farther south that we were investigating, but we thought that this was too good of a too close of a story to pass up. But we also
Yes.
weren't sure who else to report this to, because, like we said, we've never come this direction, so this being a known problem isn't something that we were aware of.
And to be truthful with you, I was not sure if we would be able to come to some arrangements to take care of these things here, and I'll point to the pin, knowing that we are more than capable at defending ourselves. I am feeling a little defenseless at the moment. If you understand what I mean.
Well, I can see a bit of a, I guess how you would say, an honorable side to each of you, with not knowing that this problem is a known problem, as your friend here had mentioned. You did seek me out in order to make sure that there are no other lives lost in, I guess how you would say, a pointless endeavor, other than to gain a few coin, I suppose. However, that's well, that's just more of a precaution for not just the guild, but also the city. I'm sure you understand.
I do have one question. What about the statues? Do you know anything about the statues and why they're in the cave?
Which one? The gold
The
or the
okay,
purple?
either of them. It's such I don't understand the cave and why all of that is there. It seems so odd to me.
Well, the last reports that I've had that come in, which, well, from the information that you've explained, does seem to be at least a little outdated. The one on the west side is the golden one, if I'm remembering correctly, and you will always seem to have a formidable opponent near that end. That statue is there to not only empower you, but also help you meet a quicker demise. It
It
can,
empowers the creature as well then.
yes, and that's quite right. And, well, as far as I'm aware, if you leave an offering or a prayer at the purple one, you will be awarded as Deanna sees fit.
Hmm. Also, do note if the people who have given you information aren't or haven't brought this back, the carvings along the east side have depictions of a great being appearing from the fountain and devouring creatures around it. If the cave really does repopulate like that, uh, then the same will be true. There is a creature in the fountain that if you touch the fountain or the statuette at the top, it will follow the depictions that you see, almost as a warning to people.
Yes, the only thing that I am left with a question about is how to make it not be, well, I guess you could say cursed. It has to have something to do with that fountain. I've only had 2 of my members who are now officers come back from there, as they had lost most of their party when attempting to make that mine profitable for the guild. But unsuccessful in doing so.
Hmm. I will leave you with this. One thing that we noticed, there was a red glow to the eastern side. When we went back in there the second day, it seemed like the glow had lessened. I don't know if that's due to us defeating the creature and the power of the cave weakening or the curse weakening, and if you were to repeatedly weaken the curse, maybe it would eventually break. I don't know enough about that to make a guess, but it was a observation that we had, and anything to help get rid of cursed caves and things like that is bonus in
Well,
my mind.
perhaps that is the answer, but perhaps not. The report was that it did dim, but when scouting, it just seemed to be, well, almost like it was concentrating its power until able to be populated once more.
So it could be that statue. Somehow need to destroy that statue or decurse that statue. It's. I would definitely need to do some more research on things of this nature.
Anyways, I thank you very much for your time, and sorry to not be able to give you better news on this.
And you say that the pins are more of a city thing, but I noticed that most of your members don't seem to have the pins.
Well, that is because the members of the Wheatsivit have proven themselves not only to be honorable, but truthful and loyal to the city of Mito and the guild. They're one of the few exceptions able to walk about without wearing that pendant.
Understood. And it isn't possible for you to speak to somebody with my standing within the snow hare. You said you are familiar with us, of course, and you know our master relatively well by the sounds of it.
And Roar does seem, as from what you have said, to be exactly the same. When I speak with him in the morning, I will ask him of your character and that of your friends that are with you as well. If he vouches for you, well, then I will see that pendant removed and you added to the exception. However, you must keep in mind that magic will still be prohibited within the city walls.
I understand that. I just wish to be able to defend myself if need be. I'm sure you understand that.
Well, if that were the case, you could just take it off.
That is true.
I'm not arguing against that point, but I'm not sure if, like I said, I am not familiar with Mito's customs, and I'm not saying I wouldn't take it off if it came to that, but I prefer not to have to run from this city, warranting their hunting for my execution or something of that nature.
I don't know what you're gonna do
Defend
to
my
cause people to hunt for your execution, but
I'll protect you, Modar.
Modar, Togo, can you both give me a perception check, please?
perception.
Both of you feel the glare and coming from Zanashi's direction of just like, I told you so. Realizing that she had mentioned you could just take them off. If that were, if, like, you guys ever found yourselves in trouble or wanted to do something.
like I said, we're not looking to create trouble in Mito for ourselves or our companions here. I prefer to, and as being an ambassador for the Snow Hare Guild, I prefer not to create issues in the future between Mito and Vala as well.
Well, that is much appreciated. Again, I will speak to Royd about you and your friends, and if a good word comes down and his stands behind it and will stick his neck out for you, so to speak, well then I will remove them and have my guards and guild members informed.
Well, I said myself, I know him very well. I've been there for years. My companions here are all relatively new to the guild, so I
I
will
didn't
let
even join your guild.
I
Royd
will
may
be
not know me, but ask about this one.
straightforward with that. We're not trying to fool you in any means. I am the only one here for the most part representing the guild. These other companions I've found along the road, and they've been accompanying and helping me along the way.
Well, we'll see what he says. However, I do have a question for you as she gestures towards Zanashi.
Sure. Ask
Are
away.
you perhaps related or affiliated in any sorts of the manner to any of the orc tribes down to the south that surround Raisk?
Why, yes, I am.
That's great. And, well, if it's not out of your way, perhaps you could run a message there for me. It seems that this might be in at least slightly trusted hands, but definitely capable ones.
Not interested.
She'll say, like, just shrug her shoulders and say, "Oh, well, okay."
I'm not an errand boy.
We're also may not make it
Zanashi,
to risk, but
Zanashi, well,
If you
you're not an errand boy, but I've seen you do plenty of things for gold.
if you allow my companions to walk about the city without having to wear that brooch, then I will agree to deliver your message.
No reason for bartering like that, Zanashi. We've asked what she can do, and she will talk to the authorities.
Well, perhaps now she'll be a little more enthusiastic about it.
I do appreciate you trying to help us out.
I will say that you assume wrong. As I said, the ones that walk around here freely without having to wear such things have proven themselves, and without yet being able to speak to Rord, as she kind of gestures back over towards you, Modar, well, then I cannot make an exception to that rule just for bartering purposes.
Have it like you want, then. Deliver your own message.
Well, sure enough, then. Well, if there's nothing else that each of you need from me, then enjoy your stay here in the city of Mito. Plenty of drink and food about in the tavern here in the guild hall. Perhaps you would be more interested in enjoying the local cuisine.
thank you very much for your time. I appreciate the audience, and I'll give a slight bow with my head and back towards the door.
I'll start leaving as well. Thank you very much.
Close the door on your way out, please.
Of course. Close it on the way out.
She seemed a little bit of a bitch, if you ask me.
She seems stressed, if you ask me. Sounds like she was wanting a letter delivered by a familiar face, meaning it's probably not a easy ask that she's trying to get.
Well, they're preparing for war and trying to get as many bodies involved as possible.
What do you think the chances are of her, when she talked to Rourke and getting Vala involved, that they try and rope you into this mess, Modar?
Oh, with Rourke, you never know. It's hard to say. We're always looking for more allies, and it all depends on what kind of threats these that face what kind of threats face Vala and what they have to offer, of course.
And I know we turned her down in there, but I'm also not against There's oftentimes money in wars, but I was turning her down at face value since we didn't learn anything else about the cave. We didn't learn anything else about the ship. We didn't learn anything else about any of the questions that we had. She doesn't have anything that can help us right now.
Yes, but there was it one of your friends? There was a story of airships to the east, was it, that we heard whispers of?
I believe they said to the south, but I
Was
will
it
catch up with
south?
them. And I will pry that out of their mouths with a few drinks this evening, hopefully.
This war, I imagine that we would all be capable in fighting for one side or the other, but it would be much better, in my opinion, if it didn't happen at all.
True, but I don't think the Yanti are willing to pay, and I'd rather not sign up to go and kill the civilians of Laels, from what it sounds like, so...
If there's this core problem which are putting these two countries at war, or cities, then it would probably be capable for us to neutralize it, don't you think?
Well, from my understanding, it wasn't Mito versus Laels, but Mito and Laels versus some unknown threat. And as highly as I think about all of us, I don't know that we can go in and single-handedly tip the tides of an entire war if they're mobilizing what seems like most of the guild here, an entire guild in Laels, trying to mobilize all of the guild of Vala and orcs to the south and tribes of orcs to the south.
This does seem like a very large upbringing, so we will see what happens. But if it is war coming, then we will deal with it. But I really would like to find out as much as we can about this civilization before we can do that.
Besides, we've already been paid. I'd rather go south, figure out what's going on, learn some information about the boat if
Yes.
we can, and then make our way on our way back if the things are still going and it sounds like there's something, whether it be profit or whether it be helping people or honor, as she said. Honor, good friend. That we might get, maybe we join for a while, but I'm not committing to something like that.
Absolutely, yes. The finding information on the Elistium dynasty and these flying ships, that's what our focus should be on.
My allegiance is with you three, but the further we travel, the less appealing this mission becomes for me, because more issues pop up in every town we stop in, and altogether they seem much more vital and important to take care of, rather than just looking for ancient history.
What is history but a roadmap to the future, though, Alencia? If we forget about the past, we've no idea what's coming. What else do we have to look at?
I feel the present is most important.
Oh, but if we only look at the present, and you look down at the present all the time, you never look up to consider what the future's gonna hold, where does that leave you?
Very true. Well, I believe we should try and get the information and as well see if we can sell some of the goods that we've acquired.
I think that is probably a good idea.
As you wish.
Well, each of you were informed that the guild is looking for any sort of gems that perhaps they can use in the war efforts, and also any equipment if you have anything for that. But other than that, Mito is a pretty well-sized trading area, and you will be able to get rid of everything or exchange it if you wish.
I mean, how are we? I think we're still pretty well stocked on rations and everything, right?
I am, yes.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Zanashi's been doing like a lot of hunting, and then when she's not, you guys are usually at a tavern.
That's basically been the go-to. Is Zanashi's spent her evening hunting, and we've mostly been eating prepared or fresh game and stuff like that. So we've
Yeah.
not gone through a lot of the rations that we got through Vala. I think I've gone through 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm at 17 right now.
Plus, we stocked up on rations at the caravan that we found on the way to Mito. Or Moga.
And maybe I think I've only got 1 healing potion at the. Oh wait, no, I've got 3 potions of healing right now.
That might be something that I could use a couple extra of. Because I don't think I have any.
I could. Spellbook components. I've still got 300 gold worth of that.
So what I will say is, if you guys would like, you can take the rest of the time today, as we are just near 4:30 in, I guess, late evening or early evening, late afternoon time, and spend the rest of the day, which is April 17th, to get rid of your items, exchange things. Just send me a list, and then I can make the appropriate maths.
I don't think we distributed anything that's inside the Discord channel in terms of adding it into the inventory with the assumption that we would just sell it. If we can just mass sell that in terms of what we found inside the cave.
The assumption
And
is to sell.
Did we ever open the chest?
No, we did not.
Did we take that with us, or did we leave that?
We took that with us.
It's with you.
It's attached to one of the horses. Probably Bill Lorenzo, the greatest horse to ever live.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody actually have skills with thief picking tools to try and open it?
I do not, and I do not have the
Well, I mean, at this point, we could buy them if somebody has the skills, and not like we could go somewhere and try to buy them. I've got the Tinkerer's tools. I could try to mess with it, but I don't really have any skill with that.
You get the tools and I'll open it.
You can use thieves' tools if we can find some.
Of course. I can use anything. As long as it doesn't require reading.
I will definitely try to find. Yeah, if she can use, I'll see if we can look around, see if we can find a set. What is that like? I have to look at that real quick.
He's gonna be disappointed when he finds out I'm lying.
I will accompany someone if they wish to sell all this right now.
Yeah, 25 gold for thieves' kit, according to the book here. I don't know if Kyle's plussing or minusing any of that, but
Oh yeah. Economy base, man.
Really understand.
There's a war afoot.
That's what I'm selling out of my inventory. But I'll go around and try and sell all of the gems and everything that we purchased or that we found inside the cave, as well as that, and try and find merchants for that.
Okay. My only question for each of you is the gems that you have collected that are estimated value of like 50 gold, things of that nature. I'm assuming you'd rather just keep that as like a gem versus the 50 gold and, you know, just exchange everything to like a lighter value, or do you just want everything gold?
As far as Modar is concerned, gold is easier to spend and less to worry about. He doesn't necessarily know the exact value of everything else. But when it comes to the stuff, you'll trust Togo. He's more experienced with travel, and he'd know whether a generic currency is better or if that stuff is better. He'll trust his judgment when it comes to that.
We can do either or if we want to keep some of the more expensive gems just for ease of trade. If someplace doesn't take gold or doesn't want our gold and wants specifically some kind of gem, we can do that. I don't know if there's anything you need for your spellcasting or anything like that, but we might look into some of them before we sell them. Besides that, I am fine to mostly turn things into gold and keep a small stockpile of maybe 500 or 600 gold worth of gems as a backup, but gold is easier to distribute between the four of us, is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't these gems probably the most sought out after in this town more than any other we've been in?
If they're specifically looking for them, that was also another thought I had. Depending on the price, we could sell it off.
If Togo can get a better price for them than what they're worth, we'll sell them in a heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They probably want this more than anything else that we could possibly sell them.
Give me. I know he's hinting at a spell or something that I need that might need a component that's in there, so I'm double checking.
I don't know if there actually is one that you need, but
yeah, no, that's the only thing I'm not. I know there's a couple that I'm learning. I need to double check here.
So, well, I'll just say it, Kevo. For you, Togo, if you want to exchange it for the 50 gold, that's what you'll be offered. But if you do want to try to barter, you can give me a persuasion check.
Oh, definitely. Where did my D&D Beyond go? There it is. Definitely. Always try to barter. Forever.
But what I will say is I have everything, but it will take me a few moments to do the maths. So I will take care of that during our break in like the 30 minutes. So if there's anything else like that's small, I can do quickly. But other than that, I'm going to have to pull all those items out of the notes. And then what I'll also do is this.
Are you going to use that persuasion for trying to sell the gems as well?
We will take care of that when I get the total because I will forget. So we'll just take that persuasion for your little bits of stuff, and then I'll get another one for the gems.
What I was hoping. Awesome. But but I would spend the rest of the day doing that and looking for a tavern that I might be able to A, try and play in this evening, and B, get my friends drunk in this evening.
Yes, the tavern that you were recommended for that, knowing that there, well, the guild was booked for the evening, and then finding out it was two of your old friends that were performing. The tavern that was recommended to you was the Gnomish Tavern, uh, the Sleeping Lamp Tavern, I believe.
That sounds correct, but I'd make my way there and try and barter for rooms and such. Is that closer to the docks-ish, or is that...
Well, after taking a little bit of time following like directions here and there, you'll find it to be towards the dock side, but like the southwest side of Mito.
Got it, but I would find a large number of sailors inside the tavern, probably, based off the town.
From what you gather, this just seems to be like the recommended establishment if you don't wish to go to the guild. Next in line.
Got it. Then I will try and secure us some rooms there and maybe try to sing for an evening or so.
Okay, Togo, what I will say from that persuasion check, you'll be offered 55.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Anybody else want anything specifically done? If you're looking to purchase those thieves' tools, for an example, we can obviously go ahead and take care of that. They will be sold at a price for 30 gold.
Yeah, Modar will just buy him. He's not going to try and haggle or anything on that.
I'm gonna ignore what's on the screen right now. For the good of all of us.
I'm not sure what you're referencing.
Oh, don't worry. Alencia would be at the tavern. She would help service everyone. Just to have something to do. She's not really looking for anything.
And I just have Catapult and Disguise Self, I think, right now to learn, correct? Sorry, after the Christmas break and everything.
Yeah, I'd have to recheck, but I believe that's right. I know Catapult's right for sure. As I remember going, this will be cool.
I know I asked for Disguise Self and bought it off of before we left the last city, I believe. Yeah, and I will double check and see if is there a place to buy like magic spells and or like spells and stuff like that. I know it's not really a popular thing, but are there magic shops and things like that for magic supplies?
Well, most of the people give you like a slight chuckle when asking that, and then after explaining, like, you know, like I'm not from here kind of thing, I understand like the little bits of customs as you had mentioned. They'll apologize, but then just inform you that the only way that you can get anything of that nature is by being a member of the guild.
I figured it was probably that way, but just figured I'd double check. Well, thank you.
Doesn't hurt to ask. But sorry about your luck there, chap. Well then, while each of you make your way towards the Sleeping Lamp Tavern after taking that little bit of time, reconvening outside and entering, as you open the doors, you will see a pretty full establishment. You will see what appear to be sailors, merchants, just regular town folk, some wearing leather armor, some even wearing chainmail while they're in here. most drinking, having a good time. As you look around, you do not notice at first any barmaids or bartenders for a second, and then as each of you kind of turn just a tad bit to your left side, you'll see this tube, and then you hear "Thoop," and then out pops a little gnome, and as it kind of just stands on a shelf that is right next to the entrance as each of you have walked in, he'll say, "Hello and welcome to the Sleeping Lamp Tavern. How many for your table?"
4 for now, good sir. Thank you.
Are you a genie?
Right this way! And then he'll just jump back into the tube. Thoop. And you just like hear that sound, and just what seems like to be just a couple seconds later, you hear a voice shout out from towards the middle of the tavern. "Right here, this'll do! Come sit, and then I'll get you some food!"
I'm a big fan of this place.
Valencia
I'll
is
walk and try and find where the voice came from.
Valencia's just looking back at this tube and back at the gnome, trying to piece together what happened.
How big is this tube again?
I mean, it's a pretty decent size. It's, I guess what you would say, just big enough for a gnome.
Oh, so it's too small for me?
Yeah.
It seems like an efficient use of travel.
Gnomes are about the size of halflings, right?
I was about to jump in that motherfucker.
I think they're a little shorter than halflings. I don't think I would fit. I'm assuming it doesn't look like I would fit.
It looks like it'd be close.
Ooh. Well, maybe if I get drunk enough later, you can talk me into that, but...
Togo, you need to see where it goes.
Well, it goes from there to the table here, and I'll kind of point over to the bar where he popped up and started talking to us, and then reference to the table, or to the nearby hole. I'm assuming I see it.
Can each of you give me a perception check at this point?
It was you ever heard of a leprechaun? They grant wishes.
Perception?
Yep, from each of you. So,
I'm on
Alencia,
high alert.
while you're kind of like looking about and making like the comment, not necessarily making a comment, but probably more just standing with like your mouth agape from what exactly just happened. The rest of you will notice that this tube that the gnome had popped in and out of just kind of leads into the wall, and then after that, you cannot see where it goes from that point. You will notice a couple more near the front end, popping out near a couple of the front side tables. Zanashi, you will spot more than a dozen of these little tubes exit and enter zones, where you just see like more than 24 different gnomes popping in and out, taking orders at the bar, then jumping back in, and then disappearing for a brief moment, and then coming back just a moment, maybe 2 minutes later with an order, food and drinks in hand.
Through the tubes?
Yep.
This place is loaded with leprechauns.
I don't think they're leprechauns. I think they're gnomes.
No, those are leprechauns. We were told about them growing up, that they can grant you wishes, and we must capture one.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I would
That
highly
is-
suggest not doing that, Zanashi. When Modar's looking around at this stuff, does it look magical or some sort of like science vacuum type of thing?
I mean, at the moment, you're not really able to tell. You can give me an Arcana check at disadvantage or an investigation at disadvantage. Your choice, depending on how you're going about it. So, Alencia, you are completely lost in how this is working. Modar, I mean, you're able to determine that these are connected somehow, but other than that, it's beyond you. Each of you will hear another shout. Come on, hurry up! I got more guests to serve!
Yep, I was moving that way.
Right.
We'll head over to the table then.
Following the voices, it's kind of shouting, and as you just see like a little gnome head popping up over like the crowd of people and waving a bit, like over here, over here. Eventually, as each of you take your seats, he'll give you each a smile as he kind of spins around on the table on the back of his heels. Well, well, well. Welcome. I hope you all are swell and good. Can I start you out with some food or perhaps a drink for this evening?
I would take some kind of ale if you have it, and any kind of food if it's hot. I'll take it.
I'll take 100,000 gold, leprechaun.
What? Oh, a joke. Ha! I see. That's funny.
You asked if I wanted anything, and that's what I want. You're a leprechaun. Grant me my wish.
I don't think they serve that here.
Yeah, is that some kind of like drink you're wanting there, Zanashi? I'm unfamiliar with the 100,000 gold. Is that some kind of like fancy IPA?
Well, I'll take a fancy statue that I can break.
Question for you. Do you have rooms available to rent for the evening? And also, do you all need a musician for the night? Or the next couple nights maybe? Or travel plans are in flux always, but...
Well, Pops always has all of us perform each night. I mean, at the strike of each bell, well, then we perform. I can send him over to talk to you if you wish.
I'd love to have a conversation, if nothing else, just to see if it's a possibility, but I also understand if you were previously booked with all of you. But I'd love to have a conversation if you would.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Just a drink is fine.
Ale, wine, maybe just a water or a juice.
I'll try some wine.
Oh, looking to get a little loose.
Sure.
And for you, my blue fellow?
I'll just take whatever your most popular food is.
Okay. Be right back. And then he just jumps into the tube that's placed like right, that comes right out at the center of the table. And he just disappears.
I'm at a loss.
At a
No.
loss with what? This place?
How it works, and well, I don't think I have any capabilities to assist this place at all. I think I would just be slower.
You gotta think that I understand as someone who is not as tall as others, it can be difficult walking through some of these crowds like this. I think this is brilliant, and honestly, this is fantastic.
It is, and that's why I don't know what to do.
You should be proud and enjoy another's ingenuity.
I think I'm just going to be confused all night.
That's okay. Sometimes confusion's good for the soul.
I don't understand that, but maybe I'm just confused. Oh,
Exactly.
No.
If you already-
I need to drink something.
Just about that time, you'll hear a bell beginning to ring. Bring, bring, bring. Repeating itself 8 times in just like almost as like a cuckoo clock, but with just being like a little bell being rung instead of the bird. And at this time, the lights around the tavern will dim. It seems that the torches and the lanterns are all receding in the light that they give off individually alone by themselves. And as a slight music comes to start to play over, a slight rhythmic beat over some drums, and then followed in by a lute and then a clarinet and violin filling the air as this like sea shanty style song begins to take place. And almost at the same exact time, little gnomes appear on each of the tables, one for each of them, as they begin to sing and dance, entertaining the crowd. Everyone begins joining in, giving like a bit of clapping, stomping their feet, cheering here and there. You see most of the sailors enjoying this quite thoroughly. And then about 5 to 10 minutes later, after the song is over, each of the gnomes jump back into the tubes, thoop, 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 disappearing, and the lights come back to normal. And then almost as those ones, the one dancing on your table disappears, your server will come back, bringing each of you some food and drink. He will place what he calls a cactus ale in front of you, Zanashi, and say, well, this is an ale, and I hope it finds you well. This will make you feel like 1,000 gold. Consider it a gift.
Okay. Worst leprechauns I've ever heard of.
Oh, that's offensive.
I don't care.
You should.
By the way, Mr. Halfling?
Mm-hmm.
Pop said, sorry, tonight's a no-go. Perhaps if you'll stay till the weekend. Just a few days away.
What's today? I'm sorry, I lose track of the days all the time. How many days away? Or you said 3 days away?
It's actually just one, I believe.
Oh,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow? Oh, I don't know. Are we expecting to stay till tomorrow? And I'll kind of look around to the party.
I mean, to get what you need, then yes.
Then yeah, we can commit to staying through tomorrow evening at least. Gladly, I'd gladly play for you all tomorrow.
Sure. Well, if each of you needs some rooms, you just speak to that old man right over there. And as he points towards the bar, you'll see the back of a small gnome sitting upon a stool, a slightly pointed hat, and with a small brim around it, and he is just appearing to be drinking away at the bar.
I'll stand up and say, I'll go introduce myself and confirm for tomorrow and get us some rooms while I'm at it, and I'll head over there. How you doing? As I walk up to him.
Well. You came over to see me then, I see. How is it that you be?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. I'm looking to maybe get some rooms and hopefully feast your ears, not just have you feed me. It's a lovely performance that you all just put on, and I would love the chance to respond with my own set tomorrow, if that would be something you'd be okay with.
Perhaps. But perhaps not. let's see. How well can you rhyme? Can you swing together a song that will sway the crowd?
Probably. It seemed like you did a lot of sea-related songs. Is that something that you're looking for?
Well, we do whatever can please the crowd. We have quite a bit of sailors here tonight, and well, they do enjoy a sea shanty.
I think I could definitely make that work. But do you just want more rhyming in it? Is that sort of a quirk you have here?
Gestures to the gnomes.
Ah, fair enough.
We tone it down from here to there, but sometimes it's just too much to bear. But of room. You did inquire that as well. We have 4 available that are for sale.
Yes, I think we'll take 4 rooms, 1 for each. How much will that cost me? A silver piece?
Nah, it's gonna run you a bit more than that a piece. It's going to cost you 5 silver for the night at least. Each.
5 silver each?
Yes.
I'll take out 20 silver and... I think that's a fair price. Thank you, sir. I think that's right.
Gives you a bit of a nod. Well, I hope you find your night to be well as you feast and to be able to get a good night's sleep at least. And he will hand you 4 keys.
Kind of nod my head. Walk back over and hand out a key to everybody.
Well, one second. I was gonna say, you'll notice that each of these keys has a number on them. 2, 4, 5, and 7.
2, 4, 5, and 7?
Correct.
Okay.
So, you hand out which key to whomever you'd like and go from there, or, whatever.
I will keep 2 and I'll hand out the others at random. And besides that, I'm just gonna enjoy whenever the gnomes come out and sing and not being the one performing for once for a little bit, and then after I eat my meal and drink, wander off to try and find my friends and see if I can get them to go bar crawling with me, or get them to go drink at least.
Okay, so Togo, you are keeping 2.
Yes.
Can the rest of you roll me we'll just do a sleight of hand check as you all grab a key from the table. Okay. Zanashi, you have 4.
That's what I wanted anyway.
Alencia, you have 7. And Modar, you have 5.
5.
That is correct.
All right, cool. With that, yeah, I'll stay down here for at least another set or so, or then go back up to the room and start studying that disguise self spell.
Well, before you do that, Toga, you said that you wanted to go find your buddies to go bar crawling.
Yep, or at least try and get him a drink and maybe talk about or try and work the boat into conversation.
Got it. Sanashi and Alencia?
We need to see what Alencia is doing first.
Smart.
Actually, before I actually do that, copying a spell over, would that be considered practicing magic or not?
Part of your practice, yes.
No, I mean, like, as far as them concerned, like, I'm not casting a spell or anything like that while I do it, correct?
Oh,
like-
in that process,
Yes. Yeah, copying the spell, yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
I have an intelligence of 20. I've been doing this all my life. Like, do I think that it would be considered casting a spell?
Give me an intelligence check.
That what?
Just straight intelligence?
Yep, straight intelligence. That should be fine. Valencia, what are you gonna do?
She's never been in a situation where she didn't have to do anything. So she has this wine in front of her, and throughout all the confusion, she just drinks that to just kind of enjoy everything around her a little bit.
Zanashi?
Just gonna chill out at the table, waiting for everybody to get tired and decide they want to go to their rooms.
All right. Well, what I'll say is because everyone is staying at least till Modar indicated till after another set, each of you will hear the same chime ring out, this time 9 times, indicating 9 p.m. And then a somewhat similar show will take place as gnomes pop out onto the table from the tubes, Doop, 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 doop. Give their song, their dance, then jump back in. Doop, 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 doop. And Togo, since you are going on a little bit of a information dig and not only on the ship, but I'm sure in more of what happened after each of you had gotten separated some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll pick up with that when we get back, just after a small break. So we'll be back in just about 5 minutes, and then we'll see what happens next. And we're back. So, first things first, from getting the tally up from the gems, Togo, can you go ahead and give me a persuasion check, please?
Sure. Where did I put? I need to stop moving my tabs around while I am. Persuasion. I am actually going to use my inspiration on that one and roll that again at advantage.
Fair enough.
That is not going to be better.
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, you will get a total of 7,616 gold.
Oh, that's a lot of gold.
Is that including the just raw gold we found inside the cave?
Yes, this is everything in total.
Okay.
What was that number again? Did you just post it?
I will post it for you. But this is your total gold hoard from the mine. Just wanted to make sure I typed it correctly and didn't mess up that relay.
So almost $2,000 a piece.
Yeah, not a bad haul.
1,904 gold a piece.
Not to mention you didn't even take the time to mine any of the areas. You just grabbed what you could.
Mm-hmm. Also, I
1896
appreciate,
apiece.
whether it's on purpose or by accident, that it's easily divisible by 4.
Not on purpose. But yes, that will be 1,904 gold for each of you.
Perfect.
I mathed that without a calculator.
Not me. Got it. I'm going to use it.
My girlfriend just said that's why I'm allowed to live in her house.
because you can math.
Yes.
Hey, well,
So that means
that's
that
not bad.
Clue knows how to divide by 4 easily, which is divide the sets by 4. So 76 divided by 4, which is 19, and 16 by 4, which is 4.
I actually did it differently.
Yeah. Well, at least
Well.
that skill will be useful.
I did 8,000 by 4, which is 2,000, and then I automatically knew just because of that 16 was going to be a 4. And I
Mhm.
subtracted 100, add a 4 back.
That's also another way to do that. That's that common core math for you right there, Clue.
What were you saying,
Coming up with
Alessia?
other numbers.
I said that skill would be useful if, nobody had calculators.
What are you talking about? I use the thing Clue does all the time at work when I don't have time or can't take my hands out of the hood to use a calculator.
Yeah, but you could live without it.
I mean, true, but... Well, like, I couldn't do my job without it, but, like, not everybody needs it.
What's good
But apparently you do in Clue's house.
Yeah, it's a necessity at Clue's house.
Yeah, you get crowned with a gold-plated helmet. Just it's King of Math. I'm so happy.
Togo or Kavo, the king of math.
All right, so before we move on with you, Togo, real quick, Modar, are you gonna continue to learn your spell stuff, or are you gonna hold off?
Me as a player thinks I probably should hold off, but Modar doesn't care at this point. He doesn't think that it's actually casting us, that he's reading from his book and trying to copy from the spell scroll to his book. So
Okay, you can go ahead and give me an Arcana check, and then Togo, you are going to go see Arlen and Armra.
That I am.
All right. So at this point, after that little performance from the gnomes at the table, as the clock struck 8, Modar retires for the night and goes up to his room for some studies. Togo, already leaving almost an hour ago at this point. You will arrive to the Wheat Civet Guild Hall in hopes to find Arlen and Arma.
Now, poke my head in the guild hall and see if I see them playing, and if not, I'll try and find somebody that looks like they're a busybody walking around with importance and step in front of them, accidentally bumping into them.
Well, first go ahead and give me a perception check as you look around, seeing if you spot your friends.
Okay.
Yes, you'll see them both actually sitting on the stage as they seem to be just talking to some patrons, perhaps guild members, while they assume to them to be taking a break from their performance.
I'm assuming there is a bar inside here, correct?
Yes.
I'll walk over to the bar and get 3 stronger beverages. And then take them over to the table there, nearby where they're sitting, or where they are talking to people.
Okay. And you just hear them like over talking the preparation for each of them getting ready for the war in Wales. Ah, yes, I plan on being a second wave dispatched upon the land. You won't catch me out at sea. Ah, my friend Togo, you're here. Come, join.
Yeah, I brought a round for the 3 of us. I didn't know there would be more, but
It's fine, it's fine. They have plenty to drink, and each, you'll just look around. You'll notice that each of them are indeed wearing a pendant indicating that they are a member of the Wheat Civet. And they all have a tankard or a goblet in their hands.
and I'll say, then to new friends, obviously, and
You're here! They all cheer together, hoisting their cups into the air. Oh, to what do we owe the pleasure, my friend? Are you looking to perhaps join up? And gives
I
you
was-
like a little bit of a jokingly smile.
I was passing through with some friends of mine, and I ran into these 2 here, and I couldn't help but stay away, or couldn't stay away and not at least enjoy a drink with them this evening. And you fine folk has the rest of you.
Well, perhaps we can excuse ourselves from the each of you here, so me and my sister can go speak to an old friend. You all do understand. Yes. And as they get up and begin to walk away, you find yourselves just the 3 of you at the table.
A lot of talk about this war going on around here.
Yes, our brethren are quite excited in order to prove themselves. You see, it's, well, not every day that you can find a cause, something worth fighting for, and find it to be just.
What do you all feel about it? Are you excited about going off to do honorable battle, as I've been told?
Well, we're a bit smarter than the others. You don't get to live as long as we have without having your head on a swivel since our
Yeah.
unfortunate luck, we'll call it. We've learned to be a bit more cautious as we travel about, but we do find that it is a bit nicer in larger numbers.
Oh, I'm sure, and it seems like there's definitely a large number of folk from here going. What
Yes.
was that I heard about a second wave? Are they already planning multiple forays against the Yanti?
Oh, well, Samira has already dispatched the volunteers, as I had mentioned to you earlier, when you had first arrived, but the next of us would look to set out hopefully within the week. It does sound that we're not having much luck in getting any assistance from our friends in Moga, their hands being completely tied, of course.
Yeah, we passed through there recently. It was, it, honestly, it was a mess. The two guilds are at each other's throats, and when we left, one guild had captured the leader of the other, but I have no idea what happened after that, but I suspect nothing good. It was probably a few bloody days in Moga to follow our departure.
Sounds as such, but it also does sound for quite the interesting tale. I'm surprised you didn't stick around to see how it all ended.
Oh, we were already up to the neck and all of that with it anyways. We had dropped off some goods there, and that was one of my companions is part of the Snow Hare Guild up in Vala, and they had sent a caravan down there that had been killed. Kind of pained face over Togo's or pained expression over Togo's face. But we took for the most part their goods down there, and apparently the one of the goods was a bit contraband, which caused some issues for some of our party members. And honestly, with everything going on, we thought it best to leave before we got too ingrained into the issues. At least one side win, and it not be the side that was very pleased with us.
Then it's probably best that each of you had left there as quickly as possible. You know, I do remember you always having a way to get involved in things that may not be the most fortunate for you to stumble upon.
Speaking of getting involved in things that aren't very fortunate for me to stumble upon, at some point tonight, you had mentioned tales of flying ships. One of my companions has been looking for a lot of tales and stories like that. They're being contracted by somebody back in Vala as they're traveling to pick up stories and things like that. And if I could put enough drinks into you, would you be bored, or could I tell it, or get you drunk enough to tell me such boring, crazy tales as flying boats and soaring cities?
You don't have to pour any drinks in me to be more than enthused to tell an old friend stories of our journeys. Well,
What
without
journeys did you hear about flying boats?
without getting into, let's call it, the more downside of our endeavor, while we were traveling about and going through the tribes and the orc tribes in Raisk, in that area, we, well, of course, not very well welcomed amongst them. Finding a home here and there, being able to rest, actually within the camps themselves, but mostly observing, hearing their songs and tales and dances, and, well, we were able to put together what each of them are, well, seem to be praising.
Oh, what is that?
They say a flying land that's soaring over the sky many, many years ago. But, well, we envisioned it less as a piece of land and more as a ship. And, well, land as they describe it and the ship as we're putting forth for our songs began to break apart and fall. It fell from heavenly heights, spreading across the southern area, now and mainly near Mido and Raisk, but just a tribal tale. Just makes
Well,
for a good song.
there may be more to that than you think. We've heard similar stories from other places, and of he's being contracted by a scholar up in Vala that's heard tales from farther east about that, flying boats, lands, things like that. So, one I would think is crazy, but to have it come from both you and down south and up north, and hearing that the tales are also coming from the east, it points to maybe not being accurate. There being something, but I don't know. That's all very interesting. But things like that are what lead us to go into caves filled with undead to find boats that are buried in underground mines for some reason. How it got there, I don't know, but that's what we've been doing the past 4 days before we made our way into town.
Well, you'll find that the council to the south to be a bit more entwined with, well, the livelihood of Elista as a whole. They did keep these tribes from killing themselves off completely and are able to keep, well, some sort of peace amongst those savage creatures. I must say.
What do you mean, as a whole? Like, what are they mostly doing down there? Just keeping peace between tribes, or?
Yes, well, here in Mido, we've kind of adopted their custom, since we border the lands that Rice controls. We did find it quite suitable to be able to adopt the custom of prohibiting magic in that area. The druids, well, let's just say they don't take very kindly to those who disimpose on their will.
Is it the druids that are the ones attempting to restrict magic, or is their magic being restricted? Sorry, I know very little about there. I've not traveled there really ever, I don't think.
Well, to be more bluntly, a bit of both. They, well, let's be frank, they can't prohibit and scan the entire region. But while they do patrol about, keeping an eye, checking in on the tribes from time to time, they do find travelers that are at least attempting to press and cross the line here and there. But it, in their eyes, is prohibited. I guess you could chalk it up as a form of unworldly power that one should not have.
Interesting. Well, that should make my journey fun. What was that you said about getting into search situations that are more trouble than they're worth?
Well, all you have to do there is just be a bit more weary. Think of what you're doing, you know, with whom you're in front of.
Okay. And surely, I mean, all I'm doing is traveling around and picking up stories now with some friends, and they're doing more academic and profit-related ventures, and I'm just kind of helping out on the side. But surely it's academics are fine. We'll have no problems. Who am I kidding?
Oh, Toko, we both know that you'll always find the problems.
I'm pretty sure I bring the problems with me.
Don't say that. We'll just say that you're eating up the karma for the rest of our doings.
That's a good way to put it. Well, hopefully I can eat up enough of this karma to keep you all safe during your adventures out in Laels.
I'm sure you'll hear songs of our adventures as we are able to build up a name for each of ourselves. As he places a hand upon his sister's shoulder, giving her a little bit of a smile.
Well, I can't wait to hear the songs. How far out is Laels? Not a week from here? 2 weeks from here?
Just over a week. If you go about the road, it will take quite a while having to circle up near Vala, sticking to the road quite in the literal fashion. But if you go up the road to the north, follow the creek, it will take just over a week. You can take your chances making a way across the deserts just north of the Nyansima Mountains, but, well, let's just say it's not wise to go about that area.
Why is that?
Just many find themselves lost, and, well, when you find yourself lost in the desert, you die quite easily.
That's fair, that's fair. Granted, the roads were not always that safe from our travels. We ran into a couple issues between here and Vala. I'll describe to them the iced lookout and the encounter with the drow and go into... Maybe leave out the details of, like, Zanashi skinning people, but...
Are you sure?
I'll leave out the details of Zanashi skinning people.
Okay.
But it's the roads aren't
not
always
what I
the
thought.
safest either.
That's the best part, me skinning people.
Well. And if there's anything else, you can ask a little bit more in just a moment. But as you all kind of like reconvene over a bit of old stories here and there, Valencia, you and Zanashi are both sitting at the table. Modar has excused himself in order to go study. Do you all have anything?
You going to bed anytime soon, Valencia?
Huh? Oh, sorry. Did you need me to do something?
I'm just staying up to make sure nobody bothers you before I go to bed.
Oh, you don't need to worry about that. I'm very much prepared for any situation.
Oh, just like you were prepared before when shopkeeper wouldn't sell you stuff because of you being a drow.
There are other ways to perhaps visit another shop or just focus on other things. It's really not a big deal.
Well, have it your way. We'll go out and get some fresh air before I turn in for the night.
Do you need anything?
I'll be fine.
All right. In that case, don't worry about cleaning up, and I'll just go to bed.
Okay.
She gets up and she feels a bit woozy because she hasn't been moving for a while, and she's just almost sort of clumsily cleaning the table that we were sitting at, and then back upstairs to room 7.
All right. Modar.
Yes.
While you're doing your studies, can Well, actually, you probably won't even need to roll it. You had a very high check, or a high roll for your check. Yeah, you're good. So as you are doing your studying, kind of like copying things down from the scroll, and just going about your normal business, you'll notice as you're just running your fingers over the parchment, you feel little divots here and there in the table that you're studying at.
Divots in the table.
Yep. Quite a bit, actually.
I will start, like, I'll move the scroll to the side and take a look at the table and see, like, take a look at it and see if I can tell if it's like, if there's anything any patterns or anything that looks out of place.
Yes, indeed. You do find such a thing, and over written numerous times as you begin to just look and follow it amongst the table, and like just etched in what appears to be like a very small, careful carving repeatedly is just the words, "I fucking hate gnomes."
Okay.
Other than that, you're all good. But before we move on, I will like to describe this. After your successful study for the night and you getting some rest, you lay down in the bed and close your eyes. As you do, you soon begin finding yourself drifting off to sleep. You look around, you notice that there's just nothing floating about. You just see what appears to be gas and clouds, stars off in the distance as you're floating just very lightly through the abyss. You then see little bits of visions of the dream that you had just a few nights before, where you find yourself back in Vala, looking into the mirror, finding yourself to be younger, finding your old friend. She hands you the note, smiles, and then dissipates into smoke. You just find yourself drifting for a moment. As you look down at your hands, the note is there.
I'll look at the note.
So as you open it up, the message that had been written inside: an ancient sword's remains can propel Vala higher than the clouds. That's what it says on the inside of it when you open it.
Ancient swords remains take Vala higher than the cloud.
Correct. I'll copy and paste it for you.
All right, cool.
Anything else?
I want to look around and see you said I'm floating over. Can I recognize like looking at the stars? I want to see if I can recognize like the stars and try to locate where I'm at, or look at the if I can look at the ground and kind of figure out a location as to where this may actually be. See if there's any clues in that kind of thing.
Now, well, as you look down towards the ground, you like where would be the ground, you find nothing. As you look down, just more abyss of the dark clouds, purple, green, yellow, random colors kind of scattered about, and then more stars beneath you. As you try to like piece it together of like where you may be, you do not recognize or see any of the constellations that you're familiar with that represent the gods. You are completely unsure of where you are.
Does it seem like am I looking at sky, or with my knowledge, do I feel like I'm in a different dimension or something like that? Do I recognize anything out of anything that I've read about, or any of the different worlds or planes that I've read about?
Go ahead and give me a history check and then follow that up with a con save, please. From what you've read in your studies, the only thing that you can think of is that you are on like another plane, but you're still up in the air about like landing on that decision. For your save, you begin to feel the air that you're breathing growing thin. It's getting harder to breathe. Your hands begin to burn just slightly.
Am I propelling myself? Like, do I feel like I'm in a dream, or do I feel like I'm really on this plane right now?
Well, it feels real.
I am going to try and go down, I guess. If I feel like it's like the air's getting thin, try and go down towards the smoke and the clouds and see if it gets worse or better.
As you're trying to move about, you just find yourself like feeling like you're getting nowhere. Your hands beginning to burn more. The air growing thinner. It's getting harder and harder to breathe.
I want to look down. Is the pin on my chest right now?
Yep.
I want to look around, see. I can't do anything there. Try and like close my eyes and see if I can send a message to anybody and get a response.
As you try to cast your spell, it is just completely blocked off. You feel none of the arcane power flowing through you.
I want to touch the pendant and see if that feels real or not.
It does. And as you release the paper that you're holding in your hands, with like we'll say your right hand and reach for your pendant, the pendant feels real. Your right hand ceases burning. Your left hand still burning. You see your vision beginning to fade. It's growing darker.
I will touch the my other hand to the pendant.
And as you look, one of the last images you see is the letter given to you beginning to just float, almost seeming as it's never leaving the area that you released it. Your other hand ceases burning, and you touch the pendant, and then everything goes dark. Togo. Whew.
And we're back.
Forgot to turn it down, I'm sorry. So is there anything else that you had?
No, not about. I don't think so. Nothing short of mostly just saying. So where have you all been? Just did you find your way straight here to Mito, or were you traveling around for a while, or?
Yes, we did travel around for quite a bit. We found ourselves, well, let's say that we found our freedom down in the dock area here. And when we were released, then we were looking to head south and, well, after traveling amongst the tribes in that area, found ourselves back here.
Okay. What do you mean by found your freedom here in the docks?
Well, those that had found us after our unfortunate events, you eating up more of our karma, then, well, we were nursed essentially back to health. An elderly elf she did seem near the end of her days, but, well, who knows? She could be living on for quite more time. Well, she made sure that we survived, and the only thing that she asks in return is that we see her out in her travels and getting here from Mito, and sailed a ship all the way from Ravenshaw.
Huh. Interesting. It's wonderful. It's a bit more or less colorful than some of my travels, but I spent a good bit of mine alone, so I bet you can imagine how parts of those went, but we got through most of it and all right, and we're doing well now for ourselves, I think. Anyways, but yeah, so you've been here for the most part ever since then, doing some traveling around here, I'm sure, here and there to find good stories and such, but
Mainly just jobs for the guild. You see, we've been set about here and there in various areas. There is, well, a completely overrun village just east of the Nyansima Mountains. Just a complete cemetery there.
overrun with what?
Just graves as far as you can see. It's like the ground is just, well, to be quite literal in the sense, completely filled with graves, those crucified hanging upside down.
Huh. What is that from? Is that from the... That's something else entirely, I'm sure.
As far as I'm aware, Samira had requested that the Ravenshaw Guild, the Midnight Raven, look into it, and they have someone on it, I believe.
Huh. And where was this, you said?
In Red Hawk, just east of the mountains to her. Oh, from which we mine.
Well, for heaven's sakes, it's totally... That's bizarre, but honestly, I've seen bizarre things in my life. I'm not overly surprised that such things are happening out there. But it sounds like it's a wonderful tale so far, and mostly just drink drinks, sing songs, or spend the rest of the night having fade to black conversation with them. Unless they're bringing anything up in particular. I've got nothing left to ask them about, though.
Okay. Zanashi, after Alencia kind of like stumbles about cleaning up here and there and then retiring for the night, anything that you'd like to do?
Still with us, Danashi?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was just gonna stroll about town for a little bit, just kind of getting a little bit of the lay and observing, seeing if there's anything interesting.
Well, you will see a decent amount of shops, trading areas, things of that manner. If there is a particular thing you may be looking for, this would be a pretty good bet from what you're gathering.
Am I seeing any kind of shrines?
Well, let me pull up. Yes, you do.
What's it look like?
So, which shrine would you like to go to? You see signs and directions towards the shrine of Marva. You see one towards the shrine of Deanna, and there's also a temple, a temple of the heavens.
I'm just kind of. We were in a larger city. I've been a little more investigative, I guess you could call it. Just kind of getting, the lay and what it looks like as far as uh, people that's up at this time, guards or whatever you might want to call it, traffic.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check. So even when it's getting well into the night, the area seems to still have quite a bit of people walking about. You'll see what appear to be guards walking about from here and there from time to time. When you follow some of the directions towards the shrines and like the temple, getting a better look about the area, you'll just find the same thing in most of the areas. The only area that you find to be a bit more, well, secluded in its own manner is the Shrine of Mavara, which is just located in what appears to be a garden of some sorts.
A garden. Like what kind of plants and stuff is that?
You'll see like roses, tulips, and other like flowers of the sort planted about, and then like in a circle, and then in the center will be the shrine.
I'm gonna go cut a rose, and then we'll just head back for the night.
All right, sounds good.
And I'll go to bed.
All right. Well, what I will say is as each of you retire for the night, as we move on to the morning of April 18th, each of you will have completed a short rest. So if there's anything that you need to do, go ahead and replenish that now. Roll your hit dice, things of that manner, of course.
I think I'm good.
All right.
I'm good too.
All right.
I'm good.
Well, then we will start off with Modar, since we literally kind of left him in the dark there. After your night of your study and then going off to bed and then having the dream that you did, you'll wake up in a bit of a cold sweat. And in your hands, you'll just feel like a crinkle of parchment.
I'm gonna look down to my hands.
You see a blank piece of parchment. The only thing that you see on there are 4 holes. Let me double check my notes to make sure I'm giving you the right information. Three holes, I'm sorry. So you see the 3 holes from your side, the rest of it being blank. They look to almost have like a slight burn, like remnants about them.
I want to get into my bag, go through and see if that note is still in my stuff.
And so you look through the bag, you do not find your note.
Well, to start with, I am going to take 1 hour this morning to sit down. Oh shoot! No, never mind. I can't. Never mind. I'm not gonna do that. I'll go downstairs, grab my stuff, and start heading downstairs to meet everyone else for breakfast.
You do anything with the parchment?
The parchment I will tuck in my robes.
Okay. All right. Well, when you head down, within 10 to 15 minutes, everyone can make their way down after your morning routine. So if there's anything you want to do for that time, feel free. If not, everyone can reconvene downstairs.
I'll go to Valencia's door and knock on it.
Coming. And she gets dressed as much as she can and goes to the door.
I thought you would like this, Valencia. And I pull out the rose and give it to her. I'll see you for breakfast soon.
She takes the rose, speechless.
And I walk off. I love keeping Valencia fucked up.
God, you're so awful. I swear.
It's like a roller coaster for you, man.
She's just gonna keep it in her jacket pocket and not say anything about it. And comes downstairs.
Well, Mr. Togo, if nothing for you, then everyone can reconvene downstairs.
Toko might be a little bit hungover after the evening, but besides that,
Now, you know what? You did mention a few times. Go ahead and give me a con save this morning, see how you feel.
con save.
So at the amount that you drink, like, you definitely feel a little off. You're not your complete self, and you have a slight annoying headache.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning, Togo.
Good morning.
Lovely
Morning.
evening for you all.
Yeah, you could say that.
It was an interesting evening.
Well, Modor, I have some information that might interest you. What my friends were talking about, the flying ships apparently going down south to Raisk. There were some groups down there, some tribes that apparently had old songs about floating islands, is what they called it, but or flying islands, and that they broke up in the sky, and that the story goes on that they fell in the southern part, somewhere between Mito and Raisk.
Well then, it seems like we're on the right track. Any news of the Elysium dynasty? Or the Celestial Veil?
They never mentioned that, but it was mostly down farther south. Is that they were hearing stories about that, and that there were stories of that. So that means we're going in the right direction, at least.
Yes, indeed. We definitely need to keep our ears open to what's going on in the areas and see if we can find any more clues towards these fallen ships or fallen islands or whatever they may be.
I think that's a good point, but I thought you would find that interesting, if nothing else. Also, apparently there's something about an entire city over in Red Hawk, on the other side of the mountains, that was like the entire city butchered, and they're sending people out there. That's just kind of extra news I heard about. You might be interested in. But
Red Hawk? Very interesting. I've never been, but maybe on the way north we can check that out. Definitely between Mito and Risk, we're in the right area then.
So does that mean we are exploring everywhere in between, or are we going straight to Raisk?
Well, if we hear of anything here before we leave, definitely check that out. But I say we head to Raisk and see it if we can get anything there. It doesn't seem like they have any. I'll look around and see if I can find a library or something to do some research. But from talking to the guild yesterday, it seems like there's not much of that around here. Definitely look into it while we're waiting. I know Togo is going to play tonight, so we can use that to our advantage, I suppose. See what other information we can get for the day.
Well, I certainly would rather not leave until I've heard Togo's performance.
yeah, I mean, if we want to go and stay for this evening, and I'm fine to do that, or if we want to, we can tell them that we're planning on leaving, and sorry, but I mean, it's okay. It's just a performance. I like to play wherever we go, but I don't have to.
They'll give me a day to check things out here and see if I can find any libraries. But yes, no, keep your keep your audience happy. We don't want to start spreading a bad reputation or anything.
Oh, I always keep my audiences happy. Always.
About that time, you'll hear just a thoop, and out pops a gnome. Ah, well, good morning to each of you. Hope you found your sleep nice and well. What can I get you this morning? Something to fill your tummies and make you feel swell.
I can never get used to that.
Get used to
Honestly,
what?
this morning
Nothing.
I am feeling a bit pale. Do you think you could go and grab me some ale?
Ah, your rhyme. I like that. Good fun.
Win with gnomes.
I'll just take your basic breakfast, whatever that is here.
You got it. Since you did stay in the tavern, your drinks and your morning meals free. It's on the house. And, not to, make a fuss, but you disturbed everything in this house. As, like, he kind of, like, looks over towards you, Modar.
I did what?
Oh, nothing. Just quite loud in your room last night. I'm not sure exactly what you were doing, but it sounded rough. But you look fine. You must be tough.
What were you up to, Modar?
Uh-oh. I'll go get your food.
I would like to know too.
I was I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Just I did my studying, copying some spells over, and then from there I went to sleep. I did have a bit of a strange dream about about my old master and a note she gave me many years ago, floating in a strange plane. But dreams are dreams. You know how they go.
Mm-hmm.
There was some strange pain in my hands. I'll start to kind of wiggle my fingers and hands and look down to see if there's any like marks or anything on them.
As you look down at your hands, you do indeed see little bits of burn marks. Almost as if like you were snuffing like a candle flame out with your fingertips.
I don't know. It's, I guess, a little more real than I thought it was.
Well, whatever it certainly was not just a dream. Clearly, you've done something.
Well, apparently.
You call me a troublemaker.
Give me your hands and you gotta make sure it's not serious.
Gonna have to clean up your mess now.
Well, like I said, it was all dreams. I highly doubt that. We'll find out. I don't know. It's very strange.
Valencia, as you take a look at Modar's hands, can you roll me a medicine check?
Yep.
So the burns seem very, very real, but from like your like investigation, like as like you kind of like pinch the fingers here and there, seeing if there's any pain, Modar, there is no pain.
You sure you're not feeling anything when I do this?
Nothing more than normal.
I don't know how burns can just go away overnight, especially if it's clear as day. You've been burned. Maybe it was just a simple candle. I'm not sure.
I suppose it is possible. There were a few candles in my room, but I don't remember touching any of them. Not with my bare hands, at least.
Well, have they been moved since you woke up?
I didn't touch any of them.
Well, I don't know about that. But anyway, you should be fine.
Since I woke up, I haven't touched any of them. How's that?
Well, I can't help but feel like something beyond just having a dream happened, and I need to figure out what it was.
Understood. Yes, understood.
I'm gonna go check your room. Can I have your key?
Not a problem. I'll hand her my key.
Just something to do in the meantime. And she'll head upstairs.
All right. And as Alencia, you take off from the table, excusing yourself for just a moment. The rest of you?
Just waiting for the food.
Same.
Yeah, for the most part, I'd just do the same.
All right. Well, while Alencia is gone, your food will be delivered. The gnome pops back out thoop, and places down your orders. Eggs, bacon, potatoes, a little variety of everything, fruits, juices, ale for Togo, and then we'll move over to Alencia. Alencia, as you go into the room, taking a look about, exactly how are you going about this? Because that will vary upon the role, or what the role will vary upon.
I guess, knowing Modar, he's not really one to make such a racket, and not many things are left disturbed when he's trying to study. So I guess something I would look for is that something that would look weird, in regards to only having a bit of magic study and then going to sleep.
All right,
Something that doesn't fit.
go ahead and give me an investigation check then. I'm assuming you're like looking under things, opening things here and there, looking for just any sort of clue.
My clue right here.
Hey, you found him. So as you're looking about, you don't find anything out of place. And what I will mention, just from the theory that you had brought up with the candle from your end, you do not find any candles in the room, just oil lamps that have like a little like lever on the side that you can kind of turn in order to make sure the light dims out safely. The only other thing that you find is, of course, the repetitive over and over again on the desk, like sketched into it in like those small letters, "I fucking hate gnomes."
All right.
Which I will say does seem relatively fresh.
That seems out of character. But no, like, destructive marks anywhere or something that would cause a loud sound to be heard from all the way downstairs.
No. And what I'll also add into that, just because of the role, like you don't see like any like wood shavings or anything of that manner. They just look like fresh cuts.
Fresh cuts as in, like, fairly undisturbed wood or actual cuts?
They're like actual like cuts, like I guess like a good way to describe it is, you know how like kids in like high school, middle school would like carve things into like a desk. That's kind of like what you're looking at like this wooden table area.
Oh, okay. So among the table and the scratches and the I hate gnomes thing, that's all fresh.
Yeah, within like a week or so.
Okay. Then I guess she'll come back down and lock his room.
Okay. And then when you make your way back down, you see that the food and drinks have been served. You sit back down at the table.
Well, I don't know what you did to make such a loud noise, according to him, but do you hate gnomes?
Oh, that was there before I got there. I don't know who did that, but obviously they weren't fans of our little friends here.
Just to make sure.
As far as I know, I'm telling the truth.
As far as I know, yeah, right? I don't know. How do those fingernails look, bud? Awfully suspicious.
You know more about that than I do.
I do. It's funny.
Well, the only evidence I could find of such loud noises were all over that desk, and I didn't see any seething hatred in you from the night before, so I guess it wasn't you. Maybe it was some other room that happened and just assumed it was yours. I don't know.
Anything is possible, I suppose.
Well, anyway, how long other than after the performance are we staying here? We could spend the week here if you want.
That's up to everybody here. I don't see a need for it for myself, but if you'd like to check the area out, Zanashi, Valencia, that's up to you.
I mean, a nice rest after that cave. It wouldn't hurt me, but I'm not.
I'm okay with staying a little longer.
I'm fine to move on if we think our time is pressed. If not, and we want to look around, if you want to investigate the city some, and if you find a library and want to investigate, I'm good either way.
Oh, yes, I suppose that would be the big difference for me. We can look around, see if we can find a library. Maybe they'll see what Rourke says. Maybe they'll give me access to the guild archives here in a limited capacity, even if anything would be helpful.
Yeah, that would be nice, but if nothing else, we do have a strong lead now, I would say, going down to Risk. Instead of just a rumors, we've got from two sources now saying, hey, something happened here. So
Yes, indeed.
that's a positive note, though from what they were saying, we might have actually found part of the ship inside the other cave, but who knows?
It is possible. Maybe with a little bit of research here, we can find out more. And yeah, I will. And at the same time, depending on how your performance goes tonight, will probably determine whether or not you want to stay a few more nights. Correct?
Oh, based on the fact that they perform here fairly regularly themselves, my guess is that I'll be a one-time performer, so would be my thought. Probably not gonna get away with too many nights of performances, but if it goes well, I'm more inclined to stay if that means that maybe we can get a couple free nights of rooms, but
See
we'll
what
have to see.
happens.
Well,
Uh,
sorry, go ahead.
As I say, yeah, once finish up the meals and then probably start heading out to look around for a library, unless something else is going on.
Toga's gonna look for a potions shop if he can find one. I don't know how common that would be in Elista, but
So what I will say off of just like, like passively like asking about, you just find the same information that you had somewhat found the previous day. Anything to deal with a magical sorts is dealt through with the guild on a privilege basis, apparent like from the apparent setups that they have. And the same goes with any books that aren't meant for just entertainment. But if you wish to find or look for some books in that manner, you are more than welcome to, Modar.
No, definitely looking more for like research type books. So not necessarily magic, but like history. Looking to see if I can find anything on the Elysium Dynasty or anything like that.
entertainment might find you something, Modar. If what my friend was saying was true, it's they were looking at the stories of flying ships as more of a fantasy than anything else. So while it may not be the most truthful source or the most apparent source, there may be some kind of entertaining or fictional work that draws from it that we can maybe glean some information from.
Yeah, if there's no factual, then I'll look for any sort of lore or things of that nature to do with flying.
Go ahead
Flying.
and give me an investigation check. So, as you're talking to the shopkeep about books of like this nature, he'll respond just, yes, quite. I do have a book I think would be of that sort. Here. And as he hands it to you, you read the title that is just kind of embroidered onto the cover of the book that reads Tempest's Isle.
And what? This looks perfect. I'll take a look and start scanning through it.
So go ahead and give me an investigation check. This one, like just like as you're kind of like flipping through the pages, will be a disadvantage. So as you're looking about like through the book, kind of glimpsing at pages here and there, you will read things as battles taking place. Like start. Well, I'll start in the beginning. Like a story from long, long ago, from when the world was young. A young warrior set forth in order to like reestablish a civilization. And then as like you kind of scan on, find epic battles taking place as like the descriptions in the book go on, leading into a what was once a column that was just seemingly like a straight cylinder mountain peering just straight out of the middle of the ocean, being ripped in half and then beginning to float away as it created a new civilization. And that's what you get from your quick scan from just like looking over pages here and there.
This looks perfect. How much do you want for it?
Not many individuals come in looking for entertainment, but a well-written book does take quite a bit of time. How about just 5 gold?
5 gold for this? Huh. I suppose. It seems. All right. Yes. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Thank you. And I'll hand him 5 gold.
And as he hands you the book, and you make your exchange, that is where we will call tonight's session. At this point, on the early morning hours of April 18th, as we are nearing 7:30 in the morning.
Cool.
So, since you all did get your rest in, and while we're here, each of you, for experience, each will earn 325 experience, which should put everyone at 5,868.
That is what I'm at.
All right. What was that number again?
325 puts us at 5,868.
Looks perfect.
Well, with that, as I said, that'll be the end of our session tonight, and we can get back into this next week. I will say I definitely kind of enjoyed the adjusted time. I do appreciate Togo sacrificing his Jeopardy time, but it's nice to be able to go to bed early, and I'm sure Zanashi appreciates it as well.
Mm-hmm. I popped my melatonin 30 minutes ago.
But with that, does anybody have anything that they'd like to shout out or share with everyone before we get out of here?
No, have a great week, everybody.
I mean, you should
No.
check out Friday, because that campaign's also cool. And sooner, at some point, there's going to be some new art there, which is going to be pretty awesome.
That's a fact.
I'd like to give a shout out to the Bucks.
Why? What do they do?
They just better than your Jaguars, and they're playing in the Super Bowl in their home stadium.
Okay, well, first of all, counterpoint, everybody's better than the Jaguars.
They truly embodied Florida, in which a middle-aged man retired to South Florida to live out the rest of his days with a cushy old job. That's what really happened.
Just remember that the middle-aged man doesn't have to work anymore.
Oh,
He hasn't had to
true.
work. He hasn't had to work for the last 10 years.
I mean, other
He just
than doing
chooses
everything that you need to do to be able to play football professionally.
Now, his wife makes 10 times the amount of money he does. He doesn't have to work.
Well, he doesn't have to, but he still does, I guess.
Yes, because he loves the game. That's why he's still playing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, why else would you stay? But with that, tomorrow night, Clue will be DMing Tomb of Annihilation for myself and Pistol. And we cross our fingers as we have begun to make it into the final tomb, I think. And when I did the damage tally, by the way, Clue, my brother took 1.75 damage for every foot that he took when entering the tomb.
Yeah, it's been a rough
And
first run.
we moved like 30 feet, and he's almost dead. Just by the way, I did the math for it after like rewatching the VOD, and I was like crying laughing when I found that out. It was good times. But then the rest of the week on Thursday and Friday, we have the World of Elista, and other than that, all the affiliates that are associated with the stream, you can see rotating up in the top left. All their links are found down below. If you wish to join the Discord, you can see the logo of Naruto and some other characters, Gaara and Lord Killer Bee, doing some awesome beatboxing poses. And it'll bring you right to the Discord channel. Other than that, YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff down below. Drop a follow if you haven't already, and hope to see you through the rest of the week. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye
Good
bye.
one.